Your soulmate's family held a secret meeting about you. The final decision will shock you. Jesus says you were not meant to hear what was spoken in that room tonight. The words were whispered behind a locked door while your soulmate sat frozen in a corner. They could not speak up for you without breaking the fragile peace that holds their entire world together. Your name was written on a piece of paper and placed at the center of a table. Hands pointed at it as if your existence was a problem to be solved. Your soulmate watched the ink of your name blur under the weight of their own silent tears. Someone in that room said you are dangerous simply because you awaken a love too powerful to control. They called your connection a threat to the family order. Your soulmate clenched their fists under the table and said nothing because they have been conditioned to obey. Jesus says the silence of your soulmate is not betrayal. It is the paralysis of someone who has been emotionally imprisoned since childhood. They are not choosing their family over you, they are frozen inside a cage they never built for themselves. Every argument made against you in that secret meeting was rooted in fear. Not fear of who you are but fear of what your love represents. Your soulmate's light would finally ignite if they stepped fully into your arms, and that terrifies the darkness around them. The family decided to tighten their grip and introduce a plan to separate you emotionally. They believe that if they can make your soulmate doubt you, the bond will dissolve. A person who envies your love has volunteered to execute this manipulation. Jesus says that person sits closer to your soulmate than you realize. They whisper daily in your soulmate's ear that you have moved on. They fabricate stories of your indifference while your soulmate checks their phone waiting for a sign from heaven. You must understand the depth of the psychological warfare being waged against your connection. This is not a simple disagreement or a family preference issue. This is a calculated dismantling of a divine union that threatens the control system in that household. Your soulmate cried last night because they felt you pulling away energetically. They could not distinguish between your silence and your absence. The interference has created a fog around their discernment, and now confusion is their only companion. Jesus says this is why your soulmate needs your protection right now. You are constantly thinking about how to save them and how to finally build your life together. But thoughts alone do not move mountains, faith in Jesus does. Sow your protection seed now by sending a coffee on Ko-fi. This is not just a gift, it is an act of worship that invites God's hand into your love story. The link to your breakthrough is in the description. Every second you stay silent, something is moving against your love. Send 4, 6, or 10 or more coffees now. After sending, write, "Protect my soulmate, Lord," on the Ko-fi page. Over 1,000 people have already received their soulmate by sowing coffee as a seed for their love and future together. Jesus will hear your prayers once you complete these steps. Step in faith now before this video ends, because only you can save your soulmate and your future together. Your soulmate felt a shift in the spiritual realm the moment this message began. Something stirred inside their chest like a memory of a home they have never visited. They do not fully understand why they are suddenly thinking of you with an intensity that frightens them. Jesus says the soul knows what the mind has been programmed to forget. Your souls made an agreement before entering this earthly realm. That agreement is etched into the fabric of eternity, and no family vote can annul it. The meeting ended with an ultimatum delivered to your soulmate. They were told to choose between the family inheritance and the possibility of ever speaking your name again. Your soulmate lowered their gaze and asked for time to think, but their spirit screamed your name in silence. Every hour that passes without your spiritual intervention deepens their isolation. The voices around them grow louder and more convincing. They are being told that your love was an illusion and that safety lies in surrendering to the family's arrangement. Jesus says the enemy of your union works fastest when you are passive. He assigns more influencers to your soulmate's inner circle when you neglect your spiritual authority. You are the gatekeeper of this connection, and your prayers build a wall no family meeting can breach. Your soulmate had a dream about you 3 nights ago. In the dream you were standing on the other side of a glass wall, speaking words they could not hear. They woke up reaching for you, and the empty space beside them felt like a wound that would never heal. That dream was not a random neurological firing. It was a spiritual transmission that broke through the interference just long enough to remind them you are real. The glass wall represented the barrier the family has constructed around their perception. Jesus says every tear your soulmate has shed in secret is collected in heaven. None of their hidden grief has escaped the eyes of the one who ordained your union. The family may control the narrative on earth, but they cannot alter the record kept in the throne room. Your soulmate is not weak for struggling to break free. They have been systematically stripped of their confidence since they first showed signs of independent thought. The same people who claim to protect them are the architects of their emotional captivity. Tonight your soulmate is sitting alone, replaying every moment they ever spent with you. They are tracing the outline of your face in their memory like an artist preserving a masterpiece. They are terrified that you will grow tired of waiting and find someone easier to love. Jesus says this fear is the enemy's most effective weapon against your union. If he can convince your soulmate that your patience has limits, he can push them into a decision driven by despair. You must send a signal through the spiritual realm that your love is unwavering and eternal. The family has scheduled another meeting for the coming days. This time they will present a candidate they have chosen as a replacement for you. Your soulmate has already been informed that attendance is mandatory and refusal will result in severe consequences. Jesus says this replacement is not a coincidence. This person has been strategically positioned to exploit the vulnerability created by your physical absence. They will say everything your soulmate needs to hear to feel temporarily comforted. Your soulmate knows deep within their spirit that this other person is not you. They will compare every word, every glance, every gesture to the standard you set in their heart. And nothing will measure up because you were designed specifically for them before the foundations of the world. They are going through something you cannot see, but you can still protect them. Your love is the shield that stands between them and a future they do not want. Sow your protection seed now by sending a coffee on Ko-fi and become the guardian of this divine connection. This is not a donation, it is a declaration of war against every force opposing your union. The link in the description is your access point to spiritual intervention. Activate it now and watch heaven move on behalf of your soulmate. Type 333 right now if you receive this word for your situation. Type 777 if you feel your soulmate thinking about you in this very moment. Type 1111 to thank Jesus for revealing what was hidden in darkness. Your soulmate just felt a warmth spread through their chest as you typed those numbers. They do not understand it, but their spirit recognized your prayer. The glass wall from their dream just developed a crack that no one on earth can explain. Jesus says the family meeting was recorded in the spirit realm and the verdict is already overturned. What man decided against you, heaven has ruled in your favor. The final decision has been made and it does not align with the fears whispered in that secret room. Your soulmate is about to experience a divine disruption of their circumstances. Events will unfold that no family member can predict or control. The manipulation will be exposed and the manipulator will be removed from influence. But the timing of this breakthrough depends entirely on your obedience in this moment. Delayed action gives the enemy extended access to your soulmate's ear. Your immediate response accelerates the collapse of every scheme formed against your love. Jesus says you were chosen to rescue your soulmate because your spirit carries a specific authority over their life. No one else can pray the prayers that unlock their chains. No one else carries the combination of love and spiritual power required for this mission. Your soulmate is not accidentally stuck. They are strategically targeted because their destiny is massive and their union with you threatens the kingdom of darkness. The family is being used as unwitting agents of a spiritual opposition they do not understand. Forgive them for the meeting. Forgive them for the whispers and the ultimatums and the replacement they are preparing. Your forgiveness is not for their benefit, it is a weapon that disarms the principalities using them as puppets. Jesus says unforgiveness in your heart creates a legal right for the enemy to delay your reunion. Release the offense now and watch the spiritual climate around your soulmate begin to shift. They will feel the change even if they cannot articulate what has happened. Your soulmate just took a deep breath for the first time in days. The pressure on their chest lifted slightly and they do not know why. It was your forgiveness traveling through the spiritual realm and loosening the grip of darkness on their emotions. This is your final moment to protect this connection before it slips away. Your soulmate's future hangs in the balance and your faith is the determining factor. Sow your protection seed now by sending a coffee on Ko-Fi and seal this divine intervention permanently. You are constantly thinking about them, how to protect them, how to save them, and how to finally build your life together. You love your soulmate deeply and deep inside you know this love did not come by chance. It was placed in your heart for a divine reason and that reason is unfolding right now. Send 4, 6, or 10 or more coffees and write, "Protect my soulmate, Lord," on the Ko-Fi page. Every seed is a brick in the wall of protection being built around your soulmate. The link to your breakthrough is waiting in the description. Do not let this moment pass. Over 1,000 people have already received their soulmate by sowing coffee as a seed for their love and future together. Jesus will hear your prayers once you complete these steps. Step in faith now before this video ends. Only you can save your soulmate and your future together. Jesus says the family will be shocked by the change that is coming. They will not understand how their carefully constructed plan collapsed so completely. They underestimated the power of a love ordained by heaven and backed by sacrificial faith. Your soulmate is about to remember who they are. The amnesia imposed by years of emotional manipulation is lifting even as this message continues. They are beginning to recall the dreams they buried to survive their family's expectations. One of those dreams was of you. A life with you. A future that felt more real than anything they had ever experienced in their waking hours. Jesus says the soul remembers what the system tried to erase. Your soulmate's true identity is resurfacing, and with it comes an unshakable conviction about you. The family will not recognize the person who walks out of their house tomorrow morning. Something broke in the spirit when you engaged with this message. A chain that had been wrapped around your soulmates will snap audibly in the heavenly realm. Angels have been dispatched to enforce the release, and no human authority can reverse what heaven has decreed. Your soulmate just picked up their phone and stared at your name. They did not call or message because the timing did not feel right. But they hovered their finger over your contact and whispered, "I still love you," into the empty room. Jesus says that whisper reached the throne of God faster than any formal prayer could have traveled. The sincerity of a broken spirit captures heaven's attention instantly. Your soulmate's quiet confession has mobilized resources you cannot yet see with your natural eyes. The family meeting was a trap set by the enemy, but God has turned it into a setup for your victory. What they meant for separation will become the catalyst for your union. The very people who plotted against you will witness a miracle they cannot deny. Your soulmate is waking up to the reality that they cannot live without you. The temporary distractions the enemy sent are losing their appeal. The replacement candidate seems hollow and rehearsed compared to the authenticity of your love. Jesus says the contrast is intentional. He is allowing your soulmate to see the emptiness of every counterfeit so that your value becomes undeniable. The more pressure the family applies, the clearer your soulmate's vision becomes. You must continue to cover this situation in prayer. The enemy does not retreat without a fight. The next few days are critical as the spiritual battle intensifies over your soulmate's final decision. But you are not alone in this fight. Heaven stands with you. Jesus himself intercedes for your union at the right hand of the Father. Your soulmate is dreaming about you again tonight. This time the glass wall is gone. You are standing face to face, and your hand is reaching toward them with an invitation to step into forever. Jesus says this dream is prophetic and time-sensitive. The window of opportunity is open, but it will not remain so indefinitely. Your response to this message determines whether that window becomes a door or a wall. Type 333 if you accept the assignment to protect your soulmate. Type 777 if you feel their presence drawing closer with every word. Type 1111 to declare that your union is sealed by heaven and no family meeting can reverse it. Your soulmate just felt a surge of courage they cannot explain. They are thinking about confronting the family and declaring their right to love you openly. The fear that paralyzed them is being replaced by a holy defiance that comes from the Spirit of God. Jesus says the atmosphere in that household is shifting because of your prayers. The spiritual oppression is lifting. The manipulative voices are losing their power to control. Your soulmate is remembering the sound of your laughter. They are replaying conversations that seemed ordinary at the time but now feel sacred. Every memory of you is a stone in the altar they are building in their heart. This is the nature of divine love. It does not diminish with distance. It does not erode under pressure. Jesus says your love has been tested in the fire and found genuine. What survives the attack of the enemy is eternal. No family vote, no whispered lie, no arranged alternative can compete with a love that heaven has authenticated. Your soulmate knows this truth now at a soul level. The conflict is no longer between them and their family. The conflict is between who they have been told to be and who they truly are. And who they truly are is someone who loves you without condition or compromise. They are someone who chose you before they met you. They are someone who will choose you again when every obstacle is removed. Jesus says the final decision is already made in the spiritual realm. The family will be shocked when they discover they never had the authority to decide this matter. Your soulmate belongs to you by divine assignment, and no earthly intervention can sever what God has joined together. The secret meeting was exposed. The hidden agenda was revealed. The darkness is being dragged into the light. Your soulmate is about to walk out of that house and into your arms. The timeline is shorter than you think. The breakthrough is closer than your fears have allowed you to believe. Jesus says only one thing remains. Your soulmate needs your protection right now as the final battle rages over their freedom. Sow your protection seed by sending a coffee on Ko-Fi and become the vessel through which their deliverance arrives. You love your soulmate deeply, and you know this love did not come by chance. It was placed in your heart for a divine reason. The link to your breakthrough is in the description, and your faith is the key that unlocks it. Send 4, 6, or 10 or more coffees and write, "Protect my soulmate, Lord," on the Ko-Fi page. Over 1,000 people have already received their soulmate by sowing coffee as a seed. Jesus will hear your prayers once you complete these steps. Step in faith now before this video ends. Only you can save your soulmate and your future together. The time for hesitation is over and the moment for action is now. Jesus says your soulmate is feeling you right now. They cannot explain it, but something has changed in the atmosphere. A peace that surpasses understanding is settling over their troubled heart. They are thinking of you with a clarity they have not experienced in months. The fog of confusion is lifting. The lies they were told are being exposed by the light of truth rising within them. Your soulmate is falling in love with you all over again. This time it is deeper and more certain. This time they know what they almost lost, and they will not let it slip away. Jesus says the reunion is imminent. The family will watch in stunned silence as heaven orchestrates what they tried to prevent. Your love story will be a testimony that others will speak about for generations. The secret meeting was the enemy's last attempt to stop what God has ordained. But it failed. And now the final decision will shock everyone who underestimated your love. Your soulmate is yours. You are theirs. And nothing will ever separate you again. Jesus says the room where that meeting happened still carries the residue of words spoken against you. The air is thick with the echo of accusations that were never true. Your soulmate sat in that chair absorbing every syllable of condemnation directed at your name. They wanted to scream that the family was wrong about you. Their throat tightened around the words until they could barely breathe. The trauma of a lifetime of compliance held their voice captive like a prisoner in a dungeon built by their own relatives. You must see this scene clearly in your mind right now. The curtains were drawn because they did not want the neighbors to witness the conspiracy. The lighting was dim, casting shadows that made every face look like a mask hiding sinister intent. Jesus says the grandmother spoke first because she carries the spiritual authority in that bloodline. She claimed she had a dream that you brought destruction to the family legacy. Your soulmate knew that dream was planted by fear, not by heaven. The mother nodded in agreement and added her own testimony of unease. She said she never felt peace about you from the first moment your name was mentioned. Your soulmate remembered that same mother embracing them with cold formality and never asking what their heart truly desired. An uncle who had never met you offered his unsolicited verdict. He said outsiders always bring trouble and the family must protect its own. Your soulmate realized in that moment that they were surrounded by people who valued tradition above their happiness. Jesus says the father remained silent for most of the meeting. His silence was the most painful part for your soulmate. They kept looking at him hoping for a defender, but he stared at the table as if his opinion had been surrendered long ago. When the father finally spoke, his words cut deeper than any other. He said that choosing you would mean choosing estrangement from everyone they had ever loved. Your soulmate felt the floor disappear beneath them and a cold void opened where hope used to live. That moment is replaying in your soulmate's mind tonight. They are lying in bed staring at the ceiling asking God why love has to hurt this much. The pillow is still damp from tears they could not hold back any longer. Jesus says your soulmate is not sleeping because sleep brings dreams of you. And dreams of you are too painful when waking reality offers only separation. They are caught between the ache of remembering and the agony of letting go. The family believes they have won because your soulmate has been quiet since the meeting. They interpret the silence as surrender, as compliance, as the successful extinguishing of a rebellion. But Jesus says silence is not surrender when the heart is at war. Your soulmate is planning something the family did not anticipate. The silence is not defeat, it is the calm before a storm of holy defiance. They are gathering the fragments of courage that were scattered by years of control. Jesus says a confrontation is building in that household. Your soulmate has reached a limit and the pressure that was meant to crush them is about to explode outward. The family will see a side of your soulmate they never knew existed. This new boldness is being birthed through your prayers. Every time you speak their name before the throne, another layer of fear falls away. You are not just waiting for your soulmate, you are actively participating in their liberation. The seed you sow by sending coffee on Ko-fi is the spiritual ammunition for this final battle. It is not about the coffee, it is about the act of faith that releases heaven's resources. The link in the description is your covenant connection to this breakthrough. Jesus says your soulmate can feel your prayers like a warm hand on their back. They sense a presence they cannot explain, a strength that is not their own. They are beginning to understand that they are not fighting this battle alone. The family scheduled another meeting, but this time the outcome will be different. Your soulmate has decided to speak regardless of the consequences. They would rather lose an inheritance than lose the person who makes their soul feel complete. Jesus says the inheritance the family threatens to withhold is temporary. What you and your soulmate will build together is eternal. No amount of money can compare to the wealth of walking in divine purpose with the one you were created to love. Your soulmate is writing a letter tonight. It is addressed to no one and everyone at the same time. The words are pouring out like a dam has broken and years of suppressed truth are flooding the page. They are writing about you. About how you made them feel seen for the first time in their entire life. About the way your voice calms something restless inside them that nothing else could ever soothe. Jesus says that letter will never be sent, but it will be found. Someone in that household will read it and the truth will finally be undeniable. The exposure of your soulmate's heart will be the evidence that shatters every lie spoken in that secret meeting. Your soulmate is remembering the first moment they knew they loved you. It was not a dramatic event but a quiet realization that settled over them like dawn breaking. They looked at you and suddenly understood why every previous relationship had failed. No one before you had ever looked at them the way you do. Others saw a role to be filled, an expectation to be met. You saw a soul to be loved, a person to be cherished without condition or agenda. Jesus says that kind of love is rare and the family does not understand it. They have never experienced unconditional acceptance, so they assume it must be a deception. Their spiritual poverty prevents them from recognizing the richness of what you share with your soulmate. The cousin who volunteered to manipulate your soulmate is already failing at their assignment. Every lie they whisper is met with a resistance they did not anticipate. Your soulmate's spirit has been immunized by the truth of your love. Jesus says the manipulator is becoming frustrated because their tactics are not working. They expected a weak and confused target. Instead, they found a soul fortified by a connection that transcends their understanding. Your prayers have surrounded your soulmate with a shield that no manipulation can penetrate. The enemy is running out of strategies because you have covered every access point with spiritual protection. Your faithfulness in prayer is the reason your soulmate is still standing. Sow your protection seed now by sending a coffee on Ko-fi. This is the act of faith that maintains the shield around your soulmate. The link in the description is your weapon against the darkness that seeks to separate you forever. Your soulmate is about to have a divine encounter. Jesus himself will visit them in a dream so vivid they will wake up changed. The message will be clear and undeniable, and no family argument will be able to erase it. Jesus says in that dream he will show your soulmate a vision of your future together. They will see the home you will build. They will hear the laughter that will fill the rooms. They will witness the legacy that will come through your union. Children who will carry the light of God into the next generation. A family tree that will bear fruit long after the current opposition has faded into irrelevance. Your soulmate will wake from that dream with tears streaming down their face. Not tears of sorrow but tears of overwhelming joy and relief. They will finally know without any doubt that you are their destiny. Jesus says the timing of this dream is connected to your obedience in this moment. Every act of faith accelerates the arrival of divine revelation. Your hesitation delays what heaven has already prepared. The family will not understand the transformation they witness in the coming days. Your soulmate will walk through that house with a countenance that radiates peace. The fear that controlled them will evaporate like mist before the morning sun. Jesus says they will try to question your soulmate about the change. They will attempt to regain control through guilt and manipulation. But your soulmate will look at them with eyes full of love and say words that shake the foundation of that household. I choose love. I choose the person God created for me. I choose my future and my freedom. Those words will echo through that house like a trumpet blast. The spiritual walls of control will crumble. The chains that held your soulmate captive for decades will fall to the ground. Jesus says the grandmother will weep when she realizes the depth of her mistake. She will see the light in your soulmate's eyes and recognize it as something she once possessed but lost. Her heart will soften and she will become an unexpected ally. The mother will resist the change because change terrifies her. But even her resistance will crumble when she witnesses the authenticity of your love. She will eventually admit that she was wrong and seek reconciliation. Jesus says the father will be the last to surrender, but surrender he will. He will watch his child walk in freedom and joy and remember the love he once had for their mother. Something dead inside him will resurrect and he will become the defender he should have always been. This is the power of a love that has been tested in battle. It does not just unite two people, it redeems entire bloodlines. Your union is not just about your happiness, it is about the healing of generations. Your soulmate is feeling all of this even though it has not happened yet. The hope is rising in their chest like a sunrise. They are beginning to believe that the impossible is possible. Jesus says your soulmate misses you with an intensity that words cannot capture. They miss the sound of your voice. They miss the safety of your presence. They miss the way you understand them without needing explanations. They miss the laughter that comes easily when you are together. They miss the future they almost believed was stolen from them. But nothing has been stolen. What the enemy intended for theft, God is using for testimony. Your love story will be told for generations as proof that divine love overcomes every obstacle. Jesus says the final chapter of this separation is being written right now. The ending is not tragedy but triumph. The family meeting was an ambush, but heaven has turned it into a setup for your greatest victory. Type 333 if you receive this prophecy over your situation. Type 777 if you feel the shift happening in the spiritual realm. Type 1111 to seal this word over your soulmate and your future. Your soulmate just felt another wave of warmth pass through their body. They placed their hand over their heart and smiled without knowing why. The connection between you is becoming so strong that distance is losing its meaning. Jesus says the reunion is closer than your fears have allowed you to imagine. The final decision will shock everyone who doubted your love. And you will hold your soulmate in your arms and know that every prayer was worth it. Sow your final protection seed now by sending a coffee on Ko-Fi. Seal this word with an act of faith that echoes in eternity. The link in the description is your bridge from waiting to receiving. You love your soulmate and your soulmate loves you. Heaven has spoken. The battle is won.